Good evening. It's great to have you join us this evening on Politics HQ tonight. These are the stories that made our headlines. Let's start by telling you that the Nigerian Labour Congress has condemned the federal government's approval of a 50% telecom tariff hike, calling it an unfair burden on citizens. The NLC's president, Jajero, criticized the move, highlighting it would increase telecom spending for workers earning the 70,000 naira minimum wage from 7,000 naira to 10,500 naira monthly. He accused the government of prioritizing corporate interest over citizens' welfare and demanded an immediate halt to the hike. Ajero also called on a nationwide boycott of telecom services as part of collective action. And still on the news at this time, the Independent Sharia Arbitration Panel in Ekiti State held its inaugural sitting at Ojaoba Central Mosque in Ado-Ekiti, resolving two marriage-related disputes. The first case was settled through a consent judgment, while the second case involving the husband's neglect was adjourned for further investigation. The panel emphasized its voluntary nature for both Muslims and non-Muslims. Meanwhile, the UK branch of Afenifere opposed the establishment of Sharia law in the southwest, citing concerns over unity and the region's cultural and religious diversity. However, our focus tonight: Tinubu eyes oil production in Ogoniland, task NSA, the NNPCL on talks. Also, the TUC rejects federal government proposed VAT hike. These, of course, are a point of focus tonight. Welcome. I am Dapo Adegboye. Let's get some answers. Many thanks for staying with us. Of course, this is still Politics HQ on News Central Television. President Bola Tinubu met with Ogoni leaders at the State House in Abuja, where he assured them of his administration's commitment to unlocking the human and natural resource potential of Ogoniland. The meeting, which was attended by various stakeholders, including the Governor of Rivers State, Governor Simfu Gbara, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Wike, and the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, aimed to discuss the resumption of oil production in Ogoniland and environmental cleanup efforts. Now, during the meeting, the president emphasized the need for peace, justice, and sustainable development, urging the Ogoni leaders to set aside historical grievances and work together with the government. He also mandated the National Security Advisor to coordinate negotiations and directed relevant ministers and agencies to cooperate with the Office of the National Security Advisor to achieve the set goals. Now, of course, News Central has a package put together on this meeting and its outcome. This was put together by News Central's, Amadine. Do take a listen.
They arrived at the State House in their numbers, leaders of thought from several walks of life in Rivers State. The meeting was chaired by President Bola Tinubu, with several cabinet ministers in attendance, the National Security Advisor, and the Governor of Rivers State, Siminala Ifubara.
Let me thank Mr. President for bringing us here, and we will be very patient to listen to you and to adhere to your instruction.
The presence of this delegation is a testament to the Ogoni people's readiness to engage constructively in the pursuit of peace, justice, and a sustainable development. Their willingness to participate in this dialogue reflects a shared hope for meaningful progress and enduring solutions.
Let us put the grievances of the past aside. It cannot heal the wounds if we continue to be angry. I know what to do in the memory of our beloved ones so that their sacrifices will not be in vain.
Nigeria's Minister of Environment says that much has been achieved by the current administration, especially in its efforts to restore the environment in Ogoniland. situated in Rivers State through remediation efforts.
This administration has been doing very well because the project has been there for over 5 years. It's this administration and the commitment of the president that have gone so far. And I can give you some statistics. Number one is that when we came in, only one water project was commissioned. But as I'm talking to you now, 8 have been commissioned. So 7 have been commissioned under the administration of the president, our president, Bola Tinubu. In the area of remediation, what is the most important area we are trying to address, we have done about 36 sites. They have been completed and they have been certified as environmentally conducive for people to continue doing that.
The Minister of Regional Development, however, urged citizens in the area to maintain a conducive atmosphere that will enable development to thrive.
You have to talk about peace before you talk about it. So, like I said, it's all about bringing the peace to the people of Ogoniland. And once the different groups start to operate together, there'll be peace and there'll be resumption of war, and every other thing will follow.
The meeting presents a big leap in the federal government's efforts to ensure the environment in Ogoniland is restored. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadine Uyi.
Well, there you have it there, a package put together by News Central's Amadine Uyi. Just to give you a bit of an highlight as to the meeting that was held between Mr. President and some key stakeholders within Ogoniland. In attendance too, we had the current governor of Rivers State, Gbara, and also the Minister of the FCT, that's Muike. Well, at this time, we also have a special package put together on the TUC rejecting the tariff hike on telecoms. This, of course, has instigated a lot of conversations around the feasibility and its impact on the pocket of Nigerians. This was put together by News Central's Bettina Umweli. Take a listen.
The Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, has stated that the adjustment aims to address the significant gap between operational costs and current tariffs while ensuring that service delivery is not compromised. Telecom companies had initially requested a 100% tariff hike. However, the NCC settled on a 50% increase to balance industry sustainability with consumer affordability. This move is expected to enable operators to invest in infrastructure and innovation, improving network quality, customer service, and coverage for consumers, but Lagosians feel the timing is wrong.
It's not done everywhere. At least we can see the developed country. We can see what is happening there, but not now. This is Nigeria. They have to eat. In fact, some family they have anything since morning, since yesterday also.
And you say as at now, Nigeria is not on the right side for them to increase any tariff as at now. People are in hardship for now. So I think that if they want to increase this thing, the economies must be balanced first of all.
By the time it's been increased by 50%, really, I can tell you it won't be nice, it won't be fair.
This tariff adjustment follows a series of economic challenges in Nigeria, including rising inflation rates. In November 2024, the Central Bank of Nigeria raised its benchmark lending rate by 25 basis points to 27.50%, marking the 6th consecutive rate hike of the year in an effort to combat persistent inflationary pressures.
The government is making the argument that they have done Nigerians a favor by not increasing it by 100% and increasing it radically to 50%. I think that is insensitive. I think that the government has continuously acted in such a manner that it looks as though that they are the ones leading themselves. So if it is people-centric, the government would have continued to engage the people and adopted a strategy where they are increasing it gradually.
While operators are also required to demonstrate measurable improvements in service delivery as part of the adjustments, the Commission has reaffirmed its commitment to fostering a resilient and inclusive telecommunications sector that protects consumers while ensuring the industry's sustainability. In Lagos, for News Central, I am Bettina Umweli.
That was a package put together by Bettina Umweli talking about Nigerians' reaction to the new telecom tariff hike. Yeah, of course, the TUC has come out to say, you know what, this might not just be the right time or the right move for Nigerians. At this point, we'll go on a quick break. When we return, the show continues. Stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. This is still Politics HQ on News Central Television. And of course, we are discussing at this time the meeting between Mr. President and leaders of the Ogoni Kingdom, where the President, of course, did discuss pivotal issues. Present in that particular meeting is the current Governor of Rivers State, Sim Fubara, and also the Minister of the FCT, Samwike. Well, joining me on the program to discuss this is Tambari Sydney Gbara, is the Commissioner for Environment, Rivers State. It's great to have you again on the program, sir. Thank you for joining. Now, great. Let me start by, of course, making reference to part of what the President did say in that meeting. The President emphasized the need for peace, justice, and sustainable development in Ogoniland, urging the Ogoni leaders to set aside historical grievances and work together with the government. I'd like you to speak along this line, particularly with a reference to historical grievances.
Well, I think in my own understanding, what I feel the President means is that, in every area, in every society, interaction with one another, because of interests, there is always one or two conflicts here and there. There are always one disagreement or the other. Maybe it could come from maybe religious, maybe tradition, maybe politics, most especially. And this is what the President is trying to emphasize on. At this point in time, he is aware that, okay, there could be the political divide in Rivers State. Some are with is the FCT minister, some are, with the governor from that same area. Let's not allow politics to come into this agenda or this program. Let everybody see this as a way forward for the Ogoni people, or something good that will come to the people. So the interest of the people should be made paramount in achieving this goal.
But how feasible is that? How feasible is it to put politics aside and allow in a way, will I call it normalcy or peace reign? Is it possible to exonerate politics in this?
Well, there's politics everywhere, even in our homes. There is politics in our home. But if you are a leader that understands the people, you should, at a particular point in time, know how to approach issues that concerns your people and know how to approach your people. If you can feel the impulse of the people, you can be able to get them into what you want to do and make them understand the need and the importance of whatever you as a leader is bringing to them. If this is done and there's a perfect communication, perfect engagement, perfect inclusion of every strata of the Ogoni people, the young people, the elderly, the elites, those in the academia, the business, those in the business sector, and the clergy, the royal fathers, and of course, with the politicians. If everybody is given a fair opportunity, to be part of the negotiation, the discussion that has to do with production to kickstart in Ogoniland, I think it's very, very possible.
Okay, now let's switch it a bit. The leaders, led by King Samuel Ne, actually did express willingness to engage in the process of finding lasting solution to, of course, some of the challenges in the kingdom, part of which includes environmental challenges. But we'll get to those environmental challenges. One thing that was pivotal in that meeting is request to the President as regards the resuscitation of oil and gas production in that region. We know places like Eleme, Kana, Gokana, and Thai local government areas, of that particular area. I would like you to speak on that in terms of the potential and what exactly the nation, stands to benefit once, oil and gas production is revived here.
Of course, what the nation stands to gain is not what we need to talk about or overemphasize. We already know that the country in general is going to be the direct beneficiary of what we are talking about.
Let's talk about the extent of the potential there.
There's enormous. If we talk about potential, it's enormous. What we have in Ogoniland is blessed with natural resources. Not just only the crude, there is enough gas in commercial quantity, and there are other minerals in commercial quantity in Ogoniland. But the issue, if we want to approach this matter, in my own view, is to look at what caused the issue that exists between the Ogoni people and Shell. As at that time, led by our leader, Kesaro Miwa. What caused the issue? If you're able to address that, I think it will foster a good way forward for oil production to commence in Ogoni. If it's potential, we have it more than enough, both in Eleme local government, in Tai local government, in Kana local government, and in Gokana local government. We have them in abundance in commercial quantity. Even the government themselves knows that is why they are making this move.
Now, looking at, of course, historical antecedents, you made reference to the issue between Ken Saro-Wiwa, the great Ken Saro-Wiwa, and Shell. I mean, the fallout of these issues, how much of a bottleneck do you think this will have on this recent development?
A lot, my brother, a lot. As a young student, I was a witness to what happened in Ogoniland. As a young student, as I then, the inhuman treatment that was meted on the Ogoni people by the Nigerian nation using the military junta is something we don't even need to talk about. It's just about maybe we want to, remind our black brothers in foreign land about slave trade. What we saw in Ogoniland was what anybody, you wouldn't even wish your enemy. A lot of inhuman, humiliation, massacre, killings, raping, and all manner, just name it. But they say time heals wounds. I don't know to what extent the wounds of Ogoni people has been healed, most especially the unjust killing of our leader, Ken Saro-Wiwa, and the other of the Matthias that were killed with him. The politics that Shell, brought into Ogoniland in support of the federal government, brought in soldiers, and a lot of things happened. In fact, even recently, for over the years, the young Ogonis have.
I understand that we are having a bit of connectivity issues with the Commissioner for Environment, Rivers State, Tambari Sydney Gbara. But of course, it's still Politics HQ, and we are discussing the meeting the President had with leaders of Ogoniland. Present in that meeting is the current. Okay, I think we have him back. We lost you for a moment. Maybe you might just want to do a brief recap. We lost you for a moment.
Okay, I can take it again.
Okay. Please do a recap, sir.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that, yes, what I'm saying is that the bottlenecks I foresee is one, way forward. The Ogoni Bill of Rights is a valid document that was presented by the Ogoni people as demands to be met for oil production to continue in Ogoniland as at that time. Ogoni Bill of Rights was put together within 1992, 1993. None of those items on the Ogoni Bill of Rights were attended to by the Nigerian nation. Secondly, the unjust killing of Ken Saro-Wiwa and the other Matthias. We, the younger generation, has been pleading with the federal government to at least exonerate Mr. Ken Saro-Wiwa. Let the world know that he was killed unjustly by the military junta. Again, the Ken Saro-Wiwa Memorial Bus that has been seized by the federal government and several other issues that might come up. These are the things I know that Mr. President, if he's properly briefed about, is a father and is a kind-hearted man. I am sure he will be ready to talk with the Ogoni people and, attend to some of these issues. If these issues and several others are attended to, at least those that are most considerate enough, I think it will chart a way forward, for oil exploration and production to kickstart in Ogoniland. If it is as per the willingness of the young Ogoni people for oil production to resume in Ogoniland, the answer is yes. But the trust that have been lost needs to be reassured. The Ogoni people needs this reassurance by the federal government that look, the way the military junta treated you is not the way we are going to treat you. We are ready to listen to you, and we are ready to meet up with your demands. At least those ones that are very considerate and good enough. Let's say, for instance, the release of the Kesawa Memorial Bus. What is so difficult, for the government to attend to that and equally critically investigate to the circumstances with which Kesawa and the other matters, were killed unjustly and exonerate them. At least it will be a positive step for the Ogoni people to say, yes, we have a federal government that cares about us, that are ready to listen to us, further engagements, and you see that the people will be willing. For now, I can tell you that on the street of Ogoni, the young Ogoni youths are looking forward to production to kickstart because, of course, is it not the youths of Ogoni that will be engaged one way or the other?
All right.
In the process.
I mean, you've listed quite a couple of demands that I think are pretty much pivotal for the people of Ogoniland, a part of which is you extensively talked about justice for Ken Saro-Wiwa and, of course, the team amongst the list of other issues. But we'll go on a quick break. When we return, we'll look at the environmental impact because we also know it's part of the challenges there in terms of pollution. And right now we are talking about the resuscitation of oil and gas production, which means that the issue might even be bigger. So, I mean, what are the plans? When we, of course, come back, we'll discuss this and more after now. Many thanks for staying with us. This, of course, is still Politics HQ on New Central Television. I still have my guest with me, the Commissioner for Environment, Rivers State, Tambari Sydney Gbara. He joins virtually. Thank you for staying with me, sir. Let's quickly talk about the challenges within the region, that's Ogoniland, where we know that over the years there have been issues around soil contamination, water pollution, oil spillage. And right now we are looking at a situation whereby the government, would or might resuscitate oil and gas production there, and which of course might add or create an extra burden to the existing problems on ground. I mean, you are the Minister or Commissioner for Environment. I mean, what do you foresee and how do you foresee a solution to all of this?
Okay, that's very simple. Previously production kick-started in Ogoniland as at that time when we don't have the kind of environmental awareness that we have today. During the engagements and during the consultation, during the negotiations, every aspect of this operation, will be put in place and will be addressed, where a proper environmental impact assessment will be carried out in the area, and that will chart the way forward for how to recompense or to redress, every environmental degradation this operation is going to cause in the area, so that we don't have a repeat of the situation we had before, where the means of livelihood of the people will be strangulated and taken away from them. The people are predominantly farmers and fishermen, because in Ogoniland we have enough waterways and we have vast land. So this spills, affects the economic life of the people. And so while the talks and the discussions, negotiations will be going on, every of all these will be integrated into whatever the demands or the discussion of Ogoni people are going to make. How are you going to redress or put back our environment the way you met it? Because we are not stopping the production. We are keen into it, but we must come together as stakeholders, put our heads together, put necessary measures in place to ensure that the operation does not bring our environment back to the way it was. You recall that UNEP came, there's a UNEP report, that have declared every Ogoni indigene as a potential cancer patient because of the contamination of the underwater in Ogoniland. That's the reason why we have the HYPRE program, going on to see how they can remediate the soil and then provide.
I mean, I was about going there because I mean, you are the Commissioner for Environment. I was about asking that what do you propose as a solution to sort of mitigate the impact of this?
Yes, what I will propose is this. While there is going to be a plan program for production to take place in Ogoniland, there has to be a planned program, pari passu with that, on how to ensure that the environment is adequately taken care of. Again, the technologies that are going to be deployed are things that our people will have to look into to ensure that there are technologies, state-of-the-art technologies that are in current steps now, that tends to reduce the emission, into the environment. I can tell you there are a lot of equipments, that are, there now that are very environmentally friendly. We are going to ensure that such equipments are going to be deployed in operation in Ogoniland. Over and above that, every other necessary step, natural steps, for instance, planting of more trees in the area, putting certain things in check, and in order to ensure that our environment does not suffer as a result of this production, will equally or should equally be put in place, very importantly. That way, it is going to either reduce to the barest minimum the negative impacts of kickstarting production in Ogoniland.
All right. I mean, one issue that, of course, has been ongoing in Rivers State, Port Harcourt, is the Port Harcourt refinery, which, has a kick-started operation, even though there have been stories as regards its operationality, which the NNPCL has come out to refute and say it's operational. My question to you is this, as the Commissioner for Environment: have you been able to manage the fallout of this refinery on the environment?
Yes, yeah, you're talking about gas flaring, carbon emission. Yes, we as a ministry, we are approached the NNPC, we are in talks to ensure that the necessary modalities are put in place, because if you go to Eleme town, where the refinery is situated, you will pity the people there. You will find out that even some common, domestic, what I call it, domestic plants, something like maybe plantain, banana, pawpaw, and some other guava. Things are easily planted in our environments, and they do well. You don't find some in that environment because of the excess carbon that has been emitted as a result of gas flaring. So we are in talks to ensure that we put the necessary measures in place as well, so that the people does not continue to suffer.
All right, but for now, there's no operational work on ground to sort of mitigate the impact. It's still in talks.
You don't just kickstart. You have to, it's something we have to work, with the NNPC. We have to work with the NNPC, because NNPC is like a sister agency. They are equally a parastatal of governments, but of the federal level. So we have to synergize, we have to synergize and work together, yes.
Is there a duration for these talks?
The production in the refinery is something we are all yearning for, so that at least we can see if the pump price of petroleum and other products could reduce and ease the burden on the people. But at the same time, we only need to, put measures in place to ensure that that activity too does not become another catastrophe for the people.
I mean, I totally agree with you on the activity not becoming a catastrophe for the people. But my question is there a duration for the expiration of these talks to a point where the residents and people in that area start to see the impact of the Ministry of Environment?
Any moment from now, the people are going to see the impact of the Ministry of Environment in Rivers State in conjunction, the activities of the Ministry of Environment in Rivers State in conjunction with NNPC as regards resumption of production at the refinery.
Okay. Now, another angle to this meeting is, I mean, coincidentally, the current governor of Rivers State, Sim Fubara, was there, and the former governor. And we know that for Nigerians following the political dynamics in Rivers State, we know that all is not well politically between the current governor, Sim Fubara, and his immediate past, Nyesom Wike. Many speculated that this meeting, might have been some sort of mediation meeting of some sort. I mean, are you privy to such information?
No, not at all, not to my knowledge.
So, in terms of the political dynamics in the state, status quo still remains?
Well, the people of Rivers State are enjoying the dividends of democracy under the leadership of His Excellency Sir Sitimlaye Fubara, who has proven himself to be a people's-oriented governor and the liberator of the younger generation like us. This is the only reason why what we are talking about today as regards resumption of oil production in Ogoniland will work, because the people love him and they believe in him. They have that trust and confidence in him. So him spearheading that operation in the states is an added advantage for the federal government. And I can tell you too, politics is a game. There's always never a time when the political environment is calm. Even when it seems to be calm, there are always one or two little frictions, maybe not big enough for the next, the third ear to hear it, or the third eye to see it. So disagreement is a part of politics. In politics, we disagree to agree. At this point, we are at the point of disagreeing. Maybe at some point, it all depends on how God wants it. We could agree, but I can tell you that the people of Rivers State are not in any way surcharged in all benefits they are supposed to enjoy from the present administration. They are getting it even double, more than the way it has been before.
All right. Thank you so much for your... Great.
For instance, last year, the executive governor did a largesse of 100,000 to all civil servants, and people were applauding. A year before last, sorry. Last year, he included pensioners. You can imagine when pensioners that are at home will get a bonus from a government. That is to tell you the extent to which the present administration has affected the lives of the common riversman on the streets. And so it's a government of the people. And the people are happy about it, despite the distractions here and there.
All right. Mr. Gbara, it's been a great one on the show tonight. Thank you so much for your time. And definitely News Central Politics HQ will keep tabs to see what exactly your ministry, that's the Ministry of Environment, is doing as regards managing environmental pollution in that region, because it's a big ministry when it comes to the activities going on there. But once again, we thank you so much for your time on the program. A great one. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother.
All right. And of course, that's a wrap on today's episode. In case you missed out, you can actually catch up on our YouTube platform, that's News Central TV. You can also choose to follow us on social media. Later tonight, there will be a repeat broadcast. You might also want to stick around for that. You can choose to follow me personally at Dakbo at Digboye. Until I come your way tomorrow, good night.